So where were you in '62? I actually hadn't been born, so that's where I was. Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Reviews by Josh. My name is Josh Terry and today I'm going to do the first in a series of different videos. Not exactly movie reviews, but they are certainly movie related, and they're related to something else that I am a big fan of, which is driving and cars. So this is going to be the first in a series on my favorite movie cars. And it's hard to think of a better candidate to start off with than one of the great car movies of all time, American Graffiti from 1973. Now, if you know George Lucas, you probably know that he's the Star Wars guy, and you probably think that it begins and ends with that. Not true at all. In fact, one of his first movies came a few years earlier, and it was a celebration of the car culture that he grew up in Central California in the 1950s and 60s. American Graffiti is all set on one night. It's the last night of summer in 1962, and there's a group of friends, and they're all hanging out, and they're all cruising for the last time before they go their separate ways. Some go to college, some go off to other places. I won't give away too much, and again, I'm not really going to review the movie so much as I want to talk about one of the non-human stars that I have just loved almost from the very beginning. I've been watching this movie pretty much my whole life, and I've loved it almost all my whole life. And what I want to talk about is the car that is at the center of the movie, driven by the actor Paul Le Mat, who plays John Milner, and he drives a 1932 Ford Deuce Coupe hot rod. And see, I've got a little visual aid to give you a little bit of context there. It's one of the coolest looking movie cars of all time, and Milner is, of the group of people, he is kind of the one who's never able to grow up and get out of town and to move on, and he's a couple years older than the rest of the characters in the movie, and he kind of works as sort of as an auto mechanic, but mostly spends all of his weekends just trying to drag race and kind of bust into the racing scene. No real prospects for college or anything like that. And he's kind of the James Dean character, the rebel that is watching his time in the sun kind of fade. And so he's kind of a tragic character in a way, but a lot of the movie follows him as he goes around at night and is trying to drag race with other people. And there's a new guy who comes to town who's played by an actor that I won't give away if you haven't seen the movie, but you'll be very familiar when you do. And in fact, the climax of the film builds to a drag race with Milner versus this other character, and if you haven't seen it, please do. But again, this video is really just meant to celebrate the car itself. It's just this bright yellow color, which honestly, I've actually had this conversation with people sometimes where the question is, how expensive does the car have to be before you can justify painting it yellow? Because just kind of your regular old Toyota sedan, colored yellow is going to look kind of absurd, but if you have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, then it's a little more justified. It gets a little more sketchy and kind of, okay, well, so what if I had a Corvette? What if I had, a Subaru WRX? Could yellow be justified in that kind of a situation? With a 32 Deuce Coupe hot rod, absolutely justified. It is never the kind of color that I would choose on my own, and yet I would absolutely love to have a Deuce Coupe just like John Milner's. Interestingly enough, 32 Ford yet had a Chevy engine. So there's a little piece of information that maybe you weren't looking for. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're not interested in. Either way, you're gonna get a little bit, all that kind of stuff in these videos. But anyway, if you think the car is cool, definitely check out the movie. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I will probably do a review of the movie itself at some point in the future. But for now, let's just kind of bask in the beauty of the car itself. We got the exposed engine up here. You got a little bit going up front. Nice. I don't think this model, this is a nicer model, but it doesn't really open up a whole lot, so you can just kind of see for yourself. But yeah, and that's enough of me playing with toys. So if you've seen American Graffiti, what's your favorite car and why? If you haven't seen American Graffiti, what's your favorite classic car from the 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s? So thanks for watching. This has been Movie Reviews by Josh. My name is Josh Terry. Please subscribe on your way out and make sure you keep notifications on so you can see the new videos as soon as they're available. Thanks, guys.